Greetings and welcome to Pod Return to the Waking Sands. We are a Final Fantasy XIV companion podcast where we explore the lore and story of Hydaelyn and beyond. My name is Jen, and I'm joined by my co-host and researcher.
I'm Levi.
Hello, Levi.
Hello, Jen. How are you today?
Whoa, today? Specifically today, or?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, good.
Great. Good talk.
It's Wednesday, my dude.
As it always is when we record,
Wednesday.
except for the few exceptions. At any rate, today we're back to the MSQ and we're playing through the quest, A Brave Resolution.
Mm-hmm.
And here is your saltiness alert in advance because I do not like most anything of the content we're talking about today.
Right. This is your week.
It's my week to be bitter and for Jen to defend the content.
I don't know if there's much that's defensible here. It is what it is.
Well, last week, Jen, during the Weaver episode, we promised a switcheroo on our roles, where I was like, I get it. It's not the best thing ever, but, I get where they're coming from here. And Jen's like, this is trash. I hate these people.
Yeah.
Fuck them. Fuck you.
I understand. Like, there is nothing outside the what can be normally seen as just like, tropey nonsense in this game. But for whatever reason, it got me. And I had a moment.
This is the alternate extreme of you last time. You're like, this is a trope and it sucks, and that's why it sucks because it's a trope.
But
and now you were
like, Jen, this game is full of tropes. I'm like, I know.
But now
I don't know why I'm having such an adverse reaction.
And you're saying everything's a trope, which is also not true. There is originality in this game also, Jen.
Obviously, yeah.
Well, stop going in extremes.
Man, you're always correcting me.
You're always making extreme statements, Jen. Absolute.
You never support me.
If you would dwell in the gray areas, you might find yourself to be more agreeable.
Fuck off.
All right, well, Jen will take it away from here because I've been told to fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off. Okay. All right, it's the Jen show now, and I am sorry. We'll invite Levi back. No, we'll invite you back immediately. How about that?
I will say no because it's time for the recap.
Oh, fuck. Okay, I'm going to have to reverse engineer this a little bit. Right, okay, so we finished our conversation with Race Velger, he destroyed us all, and now we're on to Estinian's bullshit.
Emotionally.
Correct. So now Estinian is like, now it's my turn, I get to kill Nidhogg, and so that means we have to go find the Aerie, which we do, but we realize it's completely surrounded by nonsense, and that includes mostly wind-aspected nonsense that we've penetrated before when we were dealing with Garuda. But this is an escalation. And when we talked to Sid Garland about it, like, hey, can't we just do the thing we did with Garuda to get in past, like, the wind and stuff? And he's like, well, technically, yes, but not with the Enterprise. The Enterprise is not agile enough because now we have dragons flying around that are going to do dragon stuff. So we need something that is going to be far more agile. And we still need to do unaspected crystal stuff to get past the wind barrier. And luckily for us, Biggs and Wedge have been working on a brand new ship. What did I call it? A sexy little minx of a ship called the Mana Cutter that has some incredible conversion technology in it that will take ether and convert it to elemental wind, which is then harnessed by its sails and its mechanisms for lift and propulsion. The issue is that it can't convert shit for shit. So it's basically like a 1-to-1, maybe like a 1 to 1.5. So we need to go into it only really works when we're in areas that have like hella wind already. And that's not the deal here. So they gotta fix that. So last we left them, they were going to try to work on the Mana Cutter to get it to a point where we could actually utilize it into getting into the Aerie. And while we were talking about that, Tataru runs in. She's like, oh my god, Ul'dahn stuff. So now we're doing Ul'dahn stuff.
Yeah. And we now pray return to the Waking Sands.
Yay!
Inside of which we are greeted by Yugiri, Raoban, and Pippin. Also, Urianger is...
It was... But that too. Like, we go back to the Waking Sands, and we're accompanied... there's a bunch of allies in the room. There's Raoban. Also, Urianger.
He's hanging out in the background.
And Urianger.
Just lurking. And Higiri is here.
Higiri's here. She's been kind of taking care of Raoban. Rabban has been on the mend since we rescued him from Halatali. Well, okay, so the reason why we're here.
We're getting there. So first off, Rabban, he has a brand new shoulder plate in the form of a bull.
A bull.
A bull.
Not a bowl, a bull.
Yes, a bull.
Right, like I said, a bull. Why are you saying it weird?
Why are you saying it weird?
I don't know. I'm saying bull. You're saying bull.
He now has...
Why are we here, dude? Why are we here?
We are here because we've been asked to come here. And we
Why?
observe the occupants, including Rabban, with his brand new bull shoulder plate. And he informs us that he has a lead on the Sultana's whereabouts.
There it is. Well, technically, Tataru tells us before we even get to Ul'dahn.
But that is not as good a lead in to the current content of the day.
It's motto, to each your own, whatever.
And this is a little bit of a much ado about nothing, because they have discovered evidence that suggests the Sultana is 5 feet from where she collapsed.
Oh my fucking God. She's not even in like a special room or a special vacation palace. She's right there, and she's been there the whole time. Anyway, okay, we're going to get
It's the
to
last place you look.
Okay, so let me just say, when we walk into the solar and we see Rabban and all of our friends, Rabban is looking awesome. He is, what is his thing? The bull of the sands.
The bull of Alamigo.
The bull of Alamigo.
The bull of the sands.
The bull of the
the
sands.
Bull of the
sands.
sands.
The Colosseum.
The bowl of soup.
The bull. He's looking great. A far cry from the man we rescued from Halatali, a broken man on the verge of losing all hope, etc., etc. But this is the General Rabban that we knew. He's back, baby. Lesson arm. Okay, so maybe we're crushing a little. So
he's got intel.
We have intel.
This is very important. The source of this intel is so suspect. This is an obvious tip-off. I'd call it a trap, except the only trap we fall into is our own complacency.
Well,
we have learned that the palace is receiving shipments of a drug designed to sustain patients trapped in a death-like slumber.
Weird.
Remind you of anyone, Jen?
I don't.
The source.
I'm racking my brain.
The source of this intel is Dulala, head of the Order of Nalthal, who we know is complicit in Lolorito's Sultana switcheroo. So a conspirator has told us intel on herself.
Right. Yeah. Correct. Oh, well, okay. So there's that. Secondly, Yugiri has been tasked with figuring out the whereabouts of the lady in waiting, Mariel, who administered the sleeping potion in the first place. And before we go in and try to rescue the Sultana and do all this stuff, we need to figure out the nature of this concoction, see if there's any way to combat it, blah, blah, blah. So that's
everyone is so dumb.
What do you mean?
Okay, so Dulala said, hey, us, the palace, are getting shipments of this drug to keep people who are in this state alive. And then we're like, all right, well, thanks for telling us. Then let's not interrogate the reason for telling us this whatsoever.
Wow, that's amazing intel. Okay, anyway, Yugiri, how's your thing going with trying to find the lady in waiting? Like, she's just... Anyway, so she's been doing that. They did find her, or there's rumors that she's been living in the Silver Bazaar, which is that settlement just to the west of Hammerley on the coast.
It is the now tarnished marketplace in the southwest portion of Western Fanaland. But we must be careful. There are bound to be monetarist informants amongst its inhabitants.
Yeah, we can't just go in there.
How dare we let the monetarists know what we're doing?
Oh my God. Yeah, so this is, the plan is very conspiratorial. Rabban is like, we got to go to the Silver Bazaar to find her, but we can't just, as scions or whatever, go walking around and letting the monetarists know.
Spoiler, that's what we do. We do just that.
Bro! Yes! We go to the Silver Bazaar.
Well, before then, Rabban says to us, we must be prepared for the worst, and being short in arm, I thought it wise to take another in its stead. What say you, warrior of light?
Oh my God.
Will you lend me yours?
At least he has a good sense of humor about it.
Yes. And also, Jen, before we go, he gets very excited about this whole thing. He amps himself up so much.
Then I pity the bastard that stands in our way. Come, my friend, for Nanamo and for Ul'dahn!
It is his job to be fair. And I've watched more than a couple of streamers start playing Final Fantasy XIV and get to the point where they have to choose a grand company, and they watch all of the leaders of said grand company make their speech, and they were all like, oh, Raban wins.
Yeah.
The man has charisma.
I mean, it worked on us, obviously.
Correct.
So.
Yeah, like, hello.
Raban or Kanisena. Or Kanisena.
Welcome, friends. 12sword. Elementals. Working in harmony. Look, I love me some Connie, but she's not making me feel anything in my loins, okay? Anyway, so we go to the Silver Bazaar, and we're supposed to be very stealthy, okay? We can't draw attention to what we're doing at all. Again, we are exiled. This is super hush-hush. So what do? We walk in, we start asking around, and literally everybody's just dicking around in the city center.
A random person.
Dulala is there in her full-ass monetarist garb. Alfino's standing around. Raban's standing around. Like, we're the most obvious pieces of shit. And then one of the people we asked, we're like, hey, do you know of this lady named Marielle? She moved here recently, blah, blah, blah. She's like, yeah, for sure. But, like, good God, wow. The arrival of your entourage basically doubled the population of this place.
That is a quote. Jin is not making that up.
Yeah, I'm like, we're dumb. We're so dumb. We've completely... The thing we said we were going to do, we did the opposite.
Our capers continue because after asking around for a bit, we find the one house, like there's like two homes in this place.
Oh,
One's
she lives in the one
by
the entrance. I'm like,
yeah,
literally
Marielle.
there's two, and it's an enormous fucking house. Relative to the area, it's an enormous house for a single person to live in.
And we just open the door. She leaves it unlocked and has not taken on a cover identity despite being involved in a hella conspiracy.
Meanwhile, Ul'dahn is like a stone's throw.
Yep.
It's right there.
We walk in her unlocked door and she's like organizing her shelves, and we stare at her in the back for a good 30 seconds before we announce ourselves.
So her back is to us. She's doing kitchen shit. And it's me and Alfino. And Alfino just goes, you are Marielle, the Sultana's former lady in waiting? Her eyes widen in panic, and she's like, oh, I know no one of that name. Pray excuse me. And she just walks out, try to be cool. Like,
all right, strangers,
calm.
Enjoy my home.
Stay calm.
See you later.
I gotta go outside just real quick. Before she can get to the door, Raban slams his fist against the open door. This was actually cool. Raban is cool in this moment because he's so fucking pissed. And he walks in. His entire body is just consuming the door frame. There's no way for this lady to escape. And he looks down at her and he says, we will have the truth from you, girl. Ooh, snap. But before she can utter a word of explanation, an unlikely pair approach from behind to interrupt. And in the most annoying voice possible. Mayhap 'twould be better coming from me. Accompanying Dulala is none other than Lord Lolorito. So now, Lolorito info dumps on us all. It's the exposition that we never knew we needed. Levi, if you would like to...
We did not need this, actually, because it's all old news.
It is old news. Dulala basically told us all of this.
Yes.
So just in case we forgot, with all of our
the summary
Ishgard shit.
The summary here is that Teleji wanted Omega for himself through means of the Carchano Reclamation Bill.
We knew
and
that.
He was getting too big for his britches.
Yep.
Which is saying something for Olala. Lodorito hatched a scheme to shut him down. Therefore, he positioned the Sultana into getting drugged and slept versus poisoned and killed. And he positioned Teleji and Raban into conflict to kill Teleji. He got the Braves all positioned to execute this whole shebangle. And also Dulala was in on it too because he needed the church's blessing or whatever to smooth things over afterwards. So he reminds us of the whole scheme. He also does say, though, Teleji found a maid in whose veins ran the blood of House Thorn, a new, more pliable puppet to sit on the throne. I don't know if we learned who this is. I thought for a moment it might have been, what's her name? Marielle. But I don't think so. I think that she's just like a convenient patsy, and whoever this mystery maid is.
For sure, yeah. So, I mean, who is this mystery person who is a descendant of the House of Thorn? That's crazy.
kind of important, but let's just brush that under the rug for now.
But
and
we don't need to, insert this mystery woman because we're past that now. We can totally still use the Sultana in her.
Yep. So after this whole villain's exposition, Ralban gets mad. He's like, how dare you, Lotharito? You had your claws in the braves from the start.
He's like, duh.
Duh, yes. When a new game begins, 'tis only prudent to have a piece on the board. Ilberd was mine.
Yeah, so Ilberd, he was down with Lotharito from the get-go and knew of all of this. So when he told Raban about the Sultana's assassination, he knew he was lying. He knew that she wasn't actually going to die. He did that to rile Raban up, and nobody expected the great success of Raban just straight up murdering Adeleji.
They hoped for it, but this is like
it was like, whoa, that went really well.
Best case version of their whole scheme.
Yeah, and then, Lotharito offers the most shit-eating little grin. I mean, in this whole info dump, I've said that before, but he cannot resist an opportunity to mock Raban also.
Yeah, he is playing with fire here, and
like, did you see what he did to your bro?
I mean, if this story were not trying to sweep this whole patch storyline under the rug as soon as possible, there might have actually been some coming of this, because there are two ways this could go in a better fashion than it does. The first off is that when Lotharito shows up here with just Dulala as his sole accompaniment, no guards whatsoever, and he mocks Raban to his face.
Ah, Ilberd. I secured his services with a promise to support his cause once my authority had been solidified. I swear, the man thinks of naught but prizing Alamigo from the grasp of the Empire. Unlike you, General, the poor fellow seems quite unable to forsake the land of his forefathers. Mayhap that's why he called you a traitor to your people and a disgrace to your homeland, amongst other things. What was it he always compared you to? Oh, yes, an overgrown lapdog begging for scraps at the Sultana's table. Oh, how we laughed.
And if this were not a wrap things up storyline, Ralban would fucking kill him right then and there.
Dude, yeah, like we're in the outskirts, okay? And again, it's been already emphasized how sparsely populated this is. No witnesses. Everybody in the room would have vouched for Ralban. Nobody would have given a shit if Lotharito was vivisected in the same way that Adeleji was.
I don't think it'd be quite so clean, but either way, though, we've seen Ralban's fury not too long ago in the scheme of things.
Oh, it was
and
rad.
This is the same kind of mock him to his face, and he's like, and that's it.
And then
that's where it stops.
The most infuriating bit is that he knows Ralban really can't do anything anymore because, Dulala's there. So yeah, that was upsetting.
That is, hang on, wait. That is chance one for things to actually go somewhere interesting. Chance two is that Lotharito says Ilberd got wearisome with his whole fixation on Alamigo, so he cut him loose. So essentially, Lotharito led Ilberd on with promises to free his homeland once he was no longer convenient to him. Then he cut him loose entirely. Ilberd just disappears at this point.
Yeah. He's the fugitive.
If this were, again, something they were trying to actually develop versus sweep under the rug, Ilberd should fucking come for Lotharito. We could be pissed at him for getting away with it, and then cutscene afterwards in his chambers.
We're going back on his word.
Ilberd's sitting in his room with his sword over his lap, and he's like, "What up?" Seriously, Ilberd is not a stable person, and I don't think he would take this betrayal lying down. He did all this shit for Lotharito and got nothing in return except for a few braves that stuck with him after the whole shit is done.
But no, we're supposed to believe that he still carries a grudge against Ralban, and
I mean, I believe that, but the fact that Lotharito gets away unscathed from Ilberd's wrath
Totally agree.
Implausible, but again, there's trying to wrap this shit up ASAP, not actually give it any sort of...
literally ASAP. We give Lotharito 6 or 7 dialogue boxes, and we're good to go, right?
Yep. So anyway, those are two ways this could diverge in a more interesting fashion, but no, neither happens. So he lays out his whole scheme, and Ralban is livid, but he goes, I actually have the thing that will make everything better. Take this here potion bottle.
Yeah. Raban threatens Lotharito with high treason, which is valid. But talking about lapdogs, Dulala sits there and she's like, "Oh, you think you have a a place to stand here with that argument. Bro, you straight up murdered somebody in cold blood without a trial, so let's just call it even.
This is literally a two wrongs make a right argument.
Correct, yes.
For one, Ul'dahn was manipulated by Dulala and Lotharito, both parties here.
The fact that, I mean, they're just simply reminding Rabban that he was a pawn in this whole thing, and he's just supposed to sit there and take it, and we're all going to move on, and he fucking does. He does.
Beyond them actually being really the ones guilty for Telegi's death, not Rabban, despite being the one with the blade, they also, they called out himself that he acted out of loyalty to the Sultana, but such deeds are in violation of the word and spirit of the law. Jen,
the law!
I'm pretty sure that defending the Sultana against her murderer is a minimum a legal gray area.
100%.
In terms of the...
Especially in Ul'dahn. Like, come on. You think there's due process here? Shut up.
Yeah. So, again, I don't know if this is as cut and dry legally as Dulala claims, other facts aside. But no, so to quote the proposal, though, Lotharito says, we have one corpse and one fugitive, the corpse being Telegi, the fugitive being, I'm assuming, Ilberd.
Mm-hmm.
And preparations have been made to restore your good name.
Ugh.
So shall we cry it quits and start again with a blank ledger, just ignoring all the other fallout, such as the scions missing and or dead, all the crystal braves that were killed and or betrayed by the third turning traitor, all the brass blades that were killed in the palace ruckus, and there's a confirmed body count for this. They had wives and families, like not joking.
Yep.
And also Rabban's short one arm.
Whoopsie.
So, and he accepts because Lotharito gives him this potion bottle that will cure the Sultana.
Oh, you want
and
your Sultana back? Here you go.
That is all there is to it.
Okay. Yeah, Rabban literally says, I like not your motives, Lotharito, but you saved the Sultana's life, and for that, you have my gratitude. Ew. Ew. Way to rise above it, Rabban, but goddamn.
And Dulala declares, Rabban al-Din, you are hereby reinstated as General of the Immortal Flames. The citizens of Ul'dahn shall be once more united under Nanamo Ul'namo, and together we shall usher in a new age of prosperity.
Great.
Jin, how's that going to go?
Probably not great.
A new age. Second age, same as the first.
Right. Like, I think we've heard this line before a lot. So, Rabban acknowledges this reinstatement and all this with silence. I think he closes his eyes, and Lotharito and Dulala walk away. He turns and looks at Mariel, just gives her a look, turns back and walks away, and Mariel understands, and she follows him. So they all go back to Ul'dahn. So now we have so then Alfino, Yugiri, and us, then we head to the Royal Promenade. And the Fragrant Chamber specifically to sit there and wait for news. So now we have a cutscene of Rabban entering Nanamo's chambers. She's sleeping in her bed. And as he's walking in, he kind of stops and takes a look at the table, capital T, table, where the incident occurred, and then there she is in her bed. So he goes and administers the potion. She wakes up, and she's like, I had the longest dream. And he's overcome with emotion. He's just, like, he's kind of like Daddy Rabban. It's like half of him was missing. And he's like, oh, welcome back. I mean, it's really sweet. It choked me up a little bit, to be honest. Well, all the other bullshit aside, the relationship between Rabban and Nanamo is precious.
It's a cute scene,
yes,
for sure.
I was having the longest dream.
"'Tis time to wake up, Your Grace. Another day begins in Thanalan, and the sun blazes bright upon the sands.
So in the Fragrant Chamber, the rest of us wait for, did it work? Well, Rabban enters, exultant. Yes, the Sultana is awake. She's none the worse for wear. And blah, blah, blah. We're like, yay. And he also says that it's likely that she's going to stay the course on her on her decision to abdicate and turn Ul'dahn into a republic.
Whatever path she chooses to take, I shall walk it with her, and we shall tread slowly, lest the nation be unsettled in our wake. Spoiler, she will be treading very slowly, if at all. For Lolorito steps in to put the final nail in the coffin of the whole Tleji plotline. Her grace's compassion is a shining beacon to us all, but what our city truly thrives upon is competition. 'Tis in the struggle against our rivals that opportunities are seized and fortunes made.
And it would be unwise, at this juncture, to throw the government into disarray right when the empire is ramping up. And we're all like, what? Have you heard something? Like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, yes, well, the Garleans have built another ship equal in stature to the Agrius. And this is the Battle of Silver Tier Skies, their giant, like, mothership that got by Midgardstormer. So they built another one, and they have flown a successful maiden voyage. So I'm sure Emperor Varus is more than excited to throw that shit into battle sometime soon. So maybe we should take this time to prepare the nation in the eventuality of imperial aggression.
Let us be distracted from our domestic struggles by a foreign war.
Oh, does that work? Is that effective? Spoilers, yes, it is. So, that all being said, well, that decision is made. We're not talking about Ul'dahn being a republic and the power being put in the hands of the people anymore. So that's cool.
We get switcherooed immediately.
Yeah, he just...
We're like all in. What, the airship emperor? Like,
whoa,
this is the problem.
Whoa. And then, Pippin is all like, what? Is it operational? Okay, well, that's the rest of our lives now. Okay, great. So we leave the room, and outside on the promenade, Alphino declares.
Alphino has a very special announcement.
This is not a surprise at all. I'm like, didn't we already have this conversation?
Right.
He declares that, like Ul'dahn, he must take control of his future. And he has decided to disband the Crystal Braves. And I'm like,
have they
not already been disbanded? Okay, well, good decision, Alphino. Yes, absolutely disband the Crystal Braves. God damn it. He continues. Those that supported the organization's goals earnestly will hopefully agree to remain allies against Eorzea's foes going forward. And then the others who sided with the traitors, Hase et al. Of the 3rd Unit, will be hunted down and persecuted.
We're not clear on under whose authority they'll be hunted down, who's going to actually take up this mantle. And further, these so-called traitors are ultimately operating under monetarist direction, so they are not actually a traitor to anything besides to Alphino. The likely scenario is that they would be made scapegoats for this whole thing, and Lolorito would be squeaky clean, and these
throw them under the bus.
Vile
Absolutely.
people would be
He'd be more
the criminals
than happy to support
who schemed the Sultana's poisoning, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, there's the traitors right there.
They are more victims in this whole thing, despite themselves being shitty.
Well, they deserve it, because they're shitty. This
Correct.
is what happens, you know, what do the kids say? Fuck around, find out?
Correct, but the person who is responsible is not find out. He just fucks around.
That's the way it goes.
That's the way it go. But in this case, we are complicit. We had the chance and we walked away from it.
I mean, if we care. I mean, if we're like at a tavern somewhere and Hase is there, I'd be like, oh, stab. Now you're dead. I'm the warrior of light. You can't touch me.
Hase is not.
I direct my ire towards him because he was kind of the main point of contact for all this garbage.
You just like honed in on him, Jen, from day one. You're like, I can't say why yet, but I
have issues. But of course they're not alone. Of course there are probably a dozen or more. So while we're standing out there, Alphino says that we haven't heard from Master Garland yet about the status of the Mana Cutter. So in the meantime, I wonder how things are going at the Rising Stones. And now that Ilbert is fled and everything is in disarray. So Yugiri arrives and she's got some information because she and her countrymen basically live in Revenant's Toll. So she's got some intel. So the 3rd Unit, as previously stated, the unit of traitors, those who pledged loyalty to Ilbert, they have all fled. And only those who are loyal to Alphino, which is a weird way of putting it, and Alphino agrees, remain. So he decides to travel to the Rising Stones and thank those who stayed as his final act as commander. When we arrive, we see a handful of former Crystal Braves. They're not in the uniform anymore. And we see that Ul'dahn and Riol are there, which means they didn't get got. They survived. Remember at the very end there, they got, Riol was on it. He knew that shenanigans were happening.
Yeah.
He was reporting to us about those shenanigans. And we were like, he's going to get murdered, I swear to God.
Yeah.
And also Ul'dahn at the very end, she got caught up in a scheme as well. And
was she the one who was at the train station?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she vanished, and
she
the
vanished.
bottle
and so
was there.
Their fates were unknown, and we feared the worst for these people because we didn't hear anything about them at all after this point. But here they are, alive and well, thank God. Though, I mean, to be fair, we should have had a little bit more faith in a former member of the Company of Heroes, Riol. He's fine.
Yes and no.
I mean, look, we're dealing with assholes here. Look, Company of Heroes is a totally different type of challenge compared to what we were dealing with the Crystal Braves, but still, I was more than happy to see them.
When I was looking up some side info, Jen, on the other characters that we saved, because the two main names we know are Riol and Ul'dahn, and there are a host of kind of side characters I don't recognize or that we saw briefly during the whole recruitment thing. I was like, have I forgotten you, or are you just a third tier side character? And the answer is that they are, yes, largely just not yet significant, though some may go on to do other things in the future.
Okay.
But when I was looking them up, Jen, I found on the wiki that there's this whole narrative about how they were captured by the Braves, and then in the confusion, once Ul'dahn was defeated and they were all in a panic, these captives escaped, and I could not find any source for that story.
Huh.
Unless there's other commentary later on. I don't know where the wiki found this kind of story of the good brave escape, but it's on there on the internet.
Okay. So they did that?
So, I mean,
it's not canon.
This
I don't
is
know if
hella citation needed, and the wiki is not very good about citing sources all the time.
No, I think it's more like a creative writing exercise for the contributors. Yeah,
I don't know where they got it from.
It's fan fiction.
It does paint a picture, though, which tracks more so that they were captured and they were held in holding somewhere versus
possible. So what I thought is that either they were murdered because the traitors or the third unit in game canonically had no qualms about murdering people they found to be.
That was the first implication.
Yeah.
But they were either driven off or they were captured. And I think, honestly, the latter feels more compelling. Just because I was in Mordona just before this, Jen, and that place was hella covered in Crystal Braves.
Right.
They were still giving their whole, you can't come in here. We're not going to fight you, but you can't come in here type line. And now they're all gone. And immediately afterwards, whatever, the good team, the G team, appears out of nowhere inside the Rising Stone.
And I wish it were addressed in the games that we knew where the fuck they've been this whole time. Anywho. Okay. So Alfino walks in and, he's like, I'm sorry. But before he can officially launch into the announcement that I am dissolving the Crystal Braves, Riol stops him. And he's like, we know what you're going to say, and we won't allow it. You can take our uniforms, you can strip us of our rank, but the ideals that formed the basis of the Crystal Braves still exist. And it binds us to one another, and it binds us to you, and, the Crystal Braves existed within us the whole time. And, I mean, he's not wrong, Alfino wanted, an official organization to represent what he wanted out of Eorzea. His vision for Eorzea, a united Eorzea, was going to be brought to life through the Crystal Braves. And it's you didn't need that, man. We don't need these fancy uniforms. Anyway, so they give him this whole speech nah, bro, we got your back. We don't need this stuff. And he's touched by it. And he says that, my grandfather used to say, Louis Soir, Levier, to be clear, one could measure a man by the constancy of his comrades. Mayhap I am the exception which proves the rule. Nay, do not protest. I know that I am not worthy of their loyalty. And who is it in the Discord that fucking hates Alfino?
Yes.
Kylan?
Yes.
Hates him. And I'm like, this is a moment of clarity and self-awareness that Alfino has. And I agreed that he's insufferable, but he also understands, like, the whole, like, I have to dissolve the Crystal Braves because it was my naivety, it was my hubris, it was my pride, etc. Like, he knows.
I just wish that he acknowledged this was symbolic, because he ain't dissolving shit right now.
Correct. Like, you're not, distributing official uniforms anymore, but the spirit lives on within people, so tap into that. Anyway, so he says, I know that I am not worthy of their loyalty, but as Thaliak as my witness, I shall do everything in my power to earn it. Beautiful. Love it. Yay. High five, Alfino.
After that, we can check in with the group here individually.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Wow.
I know. I should have talked to
Party
Riol and
foul.
Eliane. Maybe they would have been like, this is where I've been this whole time.
They do not say
They do
that,
not say
sadly. But you can talk to all of the people here, all of the Crystal Braves and the Scions currently present, and the Domans. And the common room is trashed.
Oh. I blame
One
the
of them-
third unit.
Yes, you should.
Yes.
But one of them says that they're going to get to work on getting it back in order. It's not a fitting state for the headquarters of the Scions. They want it to look good for when they return.
Aww.
When, not if.
Yes.
Speaking of, there are some plans to get to work on that. So Riol tells us that Flamin?
We still don't know how to pronounce
We
her name.
did actually, Jen.
I think it's Flamin. Flamin?
I just said that.
We've established this.
That was like 3-4 months ago.
No, this was like 2 years ago.
No,
That we looked for Menphilia's mother.
Yes,
Yes.
but we had a
voiced
debate.
cutscene.
We had a debate and we had a discovery about her proper pronunciation more recently during the patch series, which I'm forgetting. The F is not pronounced separately. We know that much.
Yeah.
We'll call it Flamin for now. She got ambushed by Braves in Limsa, and she danced free of the noose. And so she's likely lying low in Limsa right now.
That's terrifying.
That is Riol's story. And then Hosen tells us that the shinobi spies have reported that Ida and Papalymo felled a, quote, sizable number of brass blades, and their corpses were not found among the bodies they left behind. So Ida and Papalymo still alive somewhere.
Okay.
After doing some hella damage.
Okay.
Those are the current known quantifiable things about the Scions. There are pledges to go and find out more after that.
Right. Yes. So when you talk to Alfino next, he's staying behind in the Rising Stones to gather more intel about where our missing Scion friends might be.
Yep.
And then he can relay that information to Tacharu and Urianger. And then while he's doing that, we are going to go back to the Sky Steel Manufactory to check in with our boys.
Yep. And that is where we leave off for now. Any final comments, Jen?
It was nice to see Rabban again.
Look at that.
Looking
That's a
like
very,
his,
very small bright side.
That's it.
Well, I got my Venom out during the action.
I mean, yeah.
I just wanted to check in on the after effects of this whole Taleji Sultana plotline here, Jin. With them taking such pains to restore the status quo, I think the only lasting effects of this storyline are the Scions being scattered, which is critically important to the improved game narrative as a whole. No matter how we got there, the Scions had to be broken to have us elevate our personal narrative and our personal stakes.
Right. Yeah.
Ilberd was also developed as a character, and he is a good villain for sure. We can see how his thread develops later on.
Yep.
So that is still a lasting effect, is him being introduced and still a party at large. And I think finally the fall of Alphino's pride was also needed for his character development. And that was a good arc in and of itself, even if the accompanying story was not the best that got him there. So Alphino's pride and fall is a necessary beat for him as a character. So
100%.
And that is still
his character line is one of my favorites in the whole game. Sorry, Carlin, I understand, but I am like fascinated by this kid, and he goes through some shit.
And I think that's it, honestly. Everything else just gets reset back to before the patch series in Ul'dahn.
Taleji's dead, so that's an empty chair in the fragrant chamber.
Oh, sure, but he was brought in. Again, he was born and died in the patch series.
It's wild, dude. Do over.
I feel almost like, this is probably me projecting a bit, but I feel like the devs just wanted to get this retcon done, so they kind of crammed it all into these like little segments. Fuck the quality, fuck any sort of like sensible storyline. Let's just get it done ASAP, reset things, move on. Bury this embarrassing chapter in the game's history.
The aftermath of this, this could have been an expansion in and of itself.
Yes.
And then Heaven's Word could have been 4.0.
Yes.
Straight up. And I would have been there for it. There was a lot there to explore. We didn't need just like a speech in a doorway by Lolorito that lasted a minute and a half.
Yep. No, I think there's a very fertile ground for where this could have gone, but also I do question if this is the game to tell that story. With its whole, you get like 4 dungeons and 3 trials or whatever the fuck the ratio is. Like that is not, it does not have the level of gameplay sophistication to make a intrigue heavy storyline work, I don't think.
Yeah, it's not Mass Effect.
Because it's mostly us just watching cutscenes where we are the muscle or just like a spectator. We are not a political power player. Our character is not, and the game does not have the capability in the way it's structured.
Totally. Yeah, it would have been a very zoomed in expansion, like rebuilding a government in Ul'dahn and just on a nanimo scale.
Yep. And then it'd be like, all right, there's some rogue Crystal Braves. Go fight them for a bit. All right, back to the drama.
What would be the dungeon? It would be like the Chambers of Parliament. We're fighting the.
Yeah, it's just too combat focused, the game, and our characters just too combat focused themselves to really tell a good intrigue storyline.
That's fair. Also, I mean, it's not just fair; it's just the reality of it. Yeah.
Thanks.
But I would have been.
But I mean, if they had like a Final Fantasy 14-2 single player game or whatever, sign me up.
Oh, bro, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, well.
All right, so anything else, Jen, on that subject?
No, we're going back to Ishgard, man.
Yeah, we are. Speaking of, Jen, before we are going to confront Nidhogg, we have to reach our apex as a Dragoon. So we're going to squeeze in the Dragoon job quest before we head for Nidhogg's lair.
It's appropriate.
Yeah, it is. And also, it would get real awkward if we let it go for too long without being done.
Probably, yes.
So,
also, like AR Dragoon, I have never touched Dragoon, so this will be entirely new for me.
Let us fully embody our voice line acknowledged as your Dragoonness.
Indeed. And that will do it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for listening. And what's your favorite flavor of Cheeto? Is it the Flamin' Hot Cheetos or... If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can at podreturnffxiv@gmail.com. We are on the Blue Sky at podreturnffxiv. Check the show notes for our Discord. You can get in there and talk to some really fantastic people. Join us for some group runs. Share pictures of your cats and bunnies or whatever. It's just really chill, and we would love to have you. And last but not least, our Patreon, patreon.com/podreturnffxiv. And for $1 a month, you get access to everything else that we do. That includes the seasonal events of 14, our Final Fantasy XI series, Vanity Elven Splainer, which is it wrapped up? It's fucking wrapped up.
It is not.
We got one more?
Yes.
Okay, we got one more.
We
are so close to wrapping that up.
Well,
and
this is going to be a huge aside in our outro, Jen. But
I know, but it's special.
We have a 20 minutes no notes talk about the Alliance Raid installment number 2. We have our final episode, and we have a future episode when the 3rd Alliance Raid comes out, where we'll talk about that. We are ending the recurring series this month with one more postscript later on. But we are not yet wrapped up as of the day this drops.
True. But we're so close, and we're going to be moving on to new content. That it's going to be a new series, and we're very excited. And then we talk about the tabletop RPG. Oh yeah, we just played a game of Magic the Gathering using the new 14 sets. We played a commander deck. We played. I'm using words that Magic the Gathering people are going to be like, oh my god, what are you saying?
We commanded each other.
But anyway, that's a really long episode. We recently dropped that, so check it out. And with that, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a good day or night, and we will see you next time.